Hey y'all, it's your girl Bird here, and welcome to another segment of Bird Talk, where we are creative, where we connect, and where we build. For those of you all who don't know, Bird's World is a space that's designed to inspire and empower writers and educators by amplifying creativity, cultivating community, and encouraging curiosity. And look, y'all, today, today was a long day for me. And when I tell you this was one of the things that got me through my day because I got to look forward to this moment right here, I'm not kidding. With me today is one of the most magical, fantastical, powerful, just out of this world human being that I could possibly bring to you. She is someone who is near and dear to my heart and who allows me to be the best version of myself that I could possibly be. And I can't wait to introduce her to you all. If you don't know, and if you do know, go ahead and hit us up in the chat. Communicate with us. Let us know that you see us. Um, I'm just full of joy. So coming to the Bird Talk stage is my girl Mallory Raven Ellen Backstrom, and yes, you have to say all of her names, otherwise her mama will get you.
Yes,
Um,
that
Shout
is.
out to mama.
Thank you for having me,
Hi.
baby. It's good to be here with you.
Oh, we have been talking about doing this or a version of this for a while now.
Mhm.
Hi Kelly. I'll let you know now. I get distracted by the comments. One, because I want to be able to bring people in with us, but two, I just get really excited to see folks, even if it is in the virtual space. So Kelly is joining us and say, "Go Mal." Um,
I love you, Kelly.
so shout out to Kelly. Yo, so like I was saying, we've been talking about doing this for a while, and it wasn't the right time. But today is that right time. So welcome the people to the space, my dear. Oh, oh, we get to share space. So my heart is just full, and my cheeks hurt already, and we're only about 4 minutes in, because I just feel so blessed. Um,
And
Kel,
we're just gonna let that settle for just a second,
you
like,
know,
because I really do. I share that vibration with you. Like, ah, it's okay to just like, whew, all
hmm
that. Thank you for that gift.
yes, thank you for keeping me grounded. Like it just in that moment, I'm like, yes, let's go, and you're like, let's sit with that.
I'm
Let's
like, I want to savor it. Like, don't rush me through this joy.
yes, and we need all of those moments of joy,
We do.
and we need
It's
to
like
bring
a
them
good
forward.
Jolly Rancher, right? It's like
Yes.
you have to take your time or you'll choke. You're right.
I wasn't ready for that. That's one of the realest things ever. Welcome to the space, Greg. I see you. He's letting us know that sorry that he's late and loves this. And we're just getting started. So before we kick off with with all of the things that we could possibly talk about, I introduced you in a way that I said how magical you are, but I honestly, if people don't know Mallory Raven Ellen Backstrom. Like I'm serious, you got to say it all. Um, they don't understand how just powerful you are as a human being. So I'm gonna kick us off with you setting the stage for us, and it's gonna require you to brag a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that we as women take up space the way that we need to take up space and really brag in the way that we should be, humbly bragging about ourselves, but really owning our accomplishments and owning who we are as just the powerful beings that we are. So, with that, I would love for you to introduce yourself and talk about all of the amazing things that you have done, will do, and continue to do for other people.
Oy vey. Well. I will start with my name because I love you so much for saying the whole thing. Um, but there is a reason why I do use my entire name, and it's because we do cut women short.
Mm,
And my mother wanted me to have a name that takes up space, that took a full breath. And I try to honor her intention in the naming of me by allowing my fullest vibration to always be present. Okay. So I am an author, I am a mixed media artist, I am a healer, I am an entrepreneur. My mother likes to call me a creative scanner. You know, I like to
mhm.
do a little bit of a lot of different things. What else is there to say? I'm a playwright.
Yes, you are. You know,
I'm
I was waiting on that.
I'm very proud of my plays. It does not come last in my life at all.
Mm-mm.
It's just that, you know, it's been a really tumultuous time to create,
Mhm.
you know, and as a writer, I feel very blessed because I do have a solitary art form. You know, I can sit by myself and paint and create a new world, but they can't breathe without other people. And I
Mhm.
think that is like one of the most powerful things, blessings of this coronavirus experience is that you realize that the universe moves miracles through other people. You know, even if it's just a smile or just a nod or a pat, you know, the universe moves energy into your life through other people, through your network, through strangers, you know? And so I'm excited about that. And so I've been really focused in the last several months on trying to creatively bridge the gap. And so we have been focusing on fairy tales, mostly because I think that just like it's the most uh, brave and audacious and ridiculously cunning thing for an oppressed people to do, you know, is to put themselves in magical situations, to put themselves in fantastical, you know, in royal and regal, in science fiction,
Mhm.
you know, in all of the realms that they relegate us to minor roles, you know.
Whew.
But these are realms that inspire the imagination. And I noticed a lack. Thankfully, you know, literature is starting to catch up, and we are seeing the publication of more Black and Brown,
Mhm.
Indigenous, queer, underrepresented voices. But there is always room for more stories. And so I have been writing fairy tales mostly because I know how busy women are. I spend a lot of time working with women one on one and men, but I would say that the primary chunk of my demographic is women.
Yes.
And the primary thing that they say to me is that they don't have enough time. You know, I don't have enough time for my spiritual care. I don't have enough time for my self care. I don't have enough time for fantasy, for escape. And so I create little tiny fairy tales that will take you all of 30 minutes. You can listen to it in the bathtub, you can listen to it on the train, you can listen to it at 3 a.m. as you're trying to get someone to go back to sleep and take a bottle. You know, they're really designed for these little tiny gasps of time where you can, just as we did when you were like, I feel so much joy.
Yes.
And I was like, let's just savor it. You know, I think that that is a powerful movement, you know, an awakening of just the joy, the fantasy, the magic. I think that's our inheritance, and we've been denied that too long,
Mm.
you know,
And we
and
haven't tapped into it. It's there. It lives
it's there.
within us. We live it every single day. But like you said, we say we don't have time for it when in all actuality we need to be able to listen to ourselves and be able to find that time so that we can continue on, so that we can find those moments to hold on to and savor. Like we just did that for 5 minutes and we probably could have done it, I mean 5 seconds. We could have probably done it longer, but I
Yes.
was just so geeked. Like I couldn't I couldn't even hold on to that space for longer than that time without, really relaxing, but like making sure that we're taking that time. Like you were so good at reminding me to take that time. and it's in a way that's receivable for me. Like people tell me to take time all the time. It's whether or not I'm like, yeah, okay, okay, I'm gonna keep going. But like there's something about your vibration that says, oh no, you can't ignore me. And that's you in general. Like you walk into a room and heads are gonna turn. People are not you can't ignore who you are and what you send out. Like it's just this is all just about me
Received,
crushing on
thank
Mallory. This has nothing to do with anything else. No.
received, and thank you. And
Yes.
I'm so glad. I'm glad that through our years of friendship, we have been able to share so much creative growth,
Mm-hmm.
and that we have been able to learn together to not rush through it,
Yeah.
to actually enjoy the laying of the pen on the page, the scratch that it makes,
Mm-hmm.
to allow it to feel sacred, that you're in a creative mood, that it something feels good or tastes good. We're not trying to trip you down a rabbit hole of, you know, Pollyanna like tumbling. It's just allowing yourself to savor the joy you get in this
Yes.
way,
Yes.
and there's so much of it. It's such a juicy state of being.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to like talk to people about fairy tales because I'm really addicted to that happily ever after mindset. Happily ever after is a way of thinking. It is a
Mm-hmm.
mode of thought
Ooh.
that creates more susceptibility to the state of joy.
Well, no, you can't just say that. And then I saw your mouth about to fix itself to continue. I'm gonna need for you to rewind and say that one more time. What?
Okay, so this was my epiphany in all of this, right?
Mm,
Because I've done a lot of study of fairy tales, of their archetypes, and what it is that they do and trigger in human nature, right?
mm-hmm.
And what they symbolize about human nature. And the thing that I realized about that ever present, and they lived happily ever after, right? Is one that's like every time it comes, it makes you want to like roll your eyes so hard it gets like caught in the back of your skull. And I get it. I really do. I understand because it feels naive. They were always happy forever, every breath, just perfectly happy. Like, I'm like, yeah, like life still happened to these
Yeah.
characters, right? They still had struggles and they still had challenges, and things didn't always go their way,
Mm-hmm.
But the mindset that they lived with every day was that I'm going to live today to the happiest ever after. And
Yes.
that's enough just for today. Today is ever after. Now is all we get.
Look
So
at
I'm just
that.
going to have a happily ever after mindset, so that I am not just susceptible to a deeper state of joy, but so I am resilient against all of the stress and the strain and the trauma attached to being human, especially
Mm-hmm.
right now. Especially. I feel like that we've always said that across space and time. It's always been especially bad right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
that's one
that
of the
helps
reasons
me move through it.
that's one of the reasons why I cannot stand the phrase now more than ever. And it's like, really? Really? Now more than ever? Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
I feel
sure. It
that.
just lets us know that the future is looking it's looking like it's got its own unique struggles. So it's all the more reason to stay present.
Yes.
All the
Yes.
more reason.
Yes, for sure. I am putting in the chat right now what you saw me doing. I was on my phone and doing all sorts of stuff. One, I was tagging somebody um, to this space that I felt needed to be here with us because I was bragging about you a couple of days ago because I was speaking with another writer and we were talking about the need for the fantastical, the need for putting our spaces in um, Afrofuturistic type,
Yeah.
situations, so that not only do we see ourselves in it, but that we can relate. Like some of the stuff we see on TV, we not gonna do. Like, so
Well,
how do
that's
we build
because
our
they
own
weren't
story?
written by black
They
women
weren't. Yep, yep. And
or
so
men, really,
her
but
focus, and
especially. Black women.
Hmm. Her focus in particular is also bringing that element in. I was like, I had a moment during our call, and you probably thought I was nuts. Moment during our call, where I was like, you have to meet Mallory. It's magic on magic. It wasn't making sense.
Magic on magic,
Magic
trademark
on magic on magic on
it.
magic. But if you need a little magic in your life, I definitely put the link in the chat for you to make sure to check out Fairy Tales for Sun-Kissed Women. Check out the website. I know you have at least one story up now, right?
There are two stories that are available on Amazon. There is one audiobook, which is an immersive audiobook. We went out of our way,
Woo! Yes.
COVID, right, to give ourselves a little bit of extra magic. We wanted to make these audiobooks not just sound like, and now Mallory is telling me a story, but really that you get to be in the story and you're really transported. And so our first audiobook is entitled Emberly. And
Hmm.
Emberly is my reimagination of a modern day Little Mermaid, except for she ain't the fish. He's the sea siren. But
Hmm.
there's no mer people. It's more, it's grounded in West African spirituality. It's, I don't know. I like to say that I created something that would allow someone to not just be transported in their imagination, but to feel like they got a healing, they got a respite, they got a break from all of this whirlwind that's happening.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of running water in that audiobook because I hope that women and men, but especially women, because for some kids, women, um, will enjoy it in the bathtub.
Yes.
It is a perfect bathtub story. It is narrated by myself and my good friend Leroyce Hawkins, who is best known, I guess, for his role on Chicago PD as Detective Atwater. He
Hmm.
has been an amazing resource and a really good friend
Yes.
to this entire process of creation. Um, but yeah,
It's also so I had a chance to listen to the audio, and I remember where I was in the moment and listening and having moments of like like as in did that just happen, but also like chills up my entire body because of how surprisingly serene the voices are, and really having it like settle my entire body, but the storyline is solid and how it pulls you in is solid. And I remember one point you were like, something about to happen, and it happened, and I was like, I wasn't ready. Like you told me, but like even if you tell what's about to happen, you have to experience your work in order to get the full breadth
um,
of of magic. So I highly recommend all and everything that Mallory does. But definitely I feel like this is you being able to embark on this journey of these fairy tales and the audio books. It was something that was different for you. And needed in a way that I didn't even know I needed.
hmm,
I listened. And then realized what I had been missing my life. So take 30 minutes out of your day, get yourself a nice little bath, throw some
yeah,
rose petals in there, some
yeah.
lavender, and
I
push
mean,
play.
treat yourself.
Push play. You
You
will
know,
not be disappointed.
treat yourself. You know, I'm just, oh,
Yeah. And
and
you
because I know Mr. Giffois is watching,
oh,
Greg is in the next audiobook,
yes.
which is entitled Queen Ami and the Ancestry. It is
Yeah.
the prequel to one of my plays.
Hmm.
You know, it's like, gotta make magic, man.
I mean, and I feel
Got to.
like in your brag, where wasn't there like an award or a finalist? Little, little you dig that happened there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
The people can read my bio. They can go to the website
Go to the
and
website and read
check
the
it out.
bio.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yes. Look, I'm so proud of you. I'm Watching you create, and I'm also very thankful to have you in my life, because not only do you push me in ways, but you support me in ways that, sometimes we say other black women don't support other black women. Ha ha! Psych. Guess who debunked that myth? Um,
It is an honor to love you.
it's so
You know, it's
great. Oh,
an honor to share space with you. It is an honor to share breath with you and break bread with you and to know you as a person.
mm,
It really is.
ditto, ditto. So lucky, so lucky. So one of the things that we actually have in common is both of our mothers are teachers,
Yes.
and both of our mothers have had impacts on generations upon generations of students. I don't know if your mother told you, but I found out that your mother taught Avery R. Young through
Yes, you did tell.
a Facebook post. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this amazing human being plus this amazing human being, and this one taught this one. The world now makes sense. Like the world makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like the both of us were blessed in having mothers who were able to feed into us being creative beings, and not a lot of people have that blessing growing up. So
Yes.
I would love for you to talk a little bit about like what that was like for you growing up, and how your mother like supported you as a child that was just full of ideas and imagination. Like, what was that like for you?
Um, well, I think that I got superiorly lucky
Hmm.
when I was blessed with my mother. I don't know what roll of the dice and that went my way on the other side. I don't regret it. I don't want to change it. I duplicated
No.
3 times because my mother has a playful spirit.
Mhm.
I am susceptible to love, to joy, to happiness, or at least its pursuit, its feverish pursuit, because of my mother. And my mother was a phenomenal teacher. She is now retired, happily. She's like, it's
Right. Same
Saturday.
with mine. I'm gonna be like walking around the house like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not teaching now.
Yeah. And like, frankly, like, I'm glad she's not teaching now, too. And so, like, talk about divine timing. She retired just in the nick.
Mhm.
Um, I digress. But my mother is an avid reader.
Mm.
And so, one of my most fond memories of my mother is kind of like one of those bittersweet memories. It was really influential for why I became a writer. Is that my mother would take me to libraries and bookstores, and that was like our treat. Like, that was back when, like, you could go to a Crown bookstore or Borders bookstore because they were everywhere. And now it's
Yes.
like look up a
Yes.
bookstore, right? But that used to be our ritual. We would go and we'd go to the bookstore, and I would get a new book. She would get a new book, and more often than not, I just ended up reading whatever she bought for herself.
Mm.
And so I kind of jumped over books that are quote unquote age appropriate, and I read really rich stories, really rich romance
This
as
makes
a
sense now, though.
person.
Like,
Yeah. And it definitely altered my perception of how I was supposed to be treated in a positive way.
hmm.
And my mom has very good taste in story. She's got very good taste in literature. And she always gave us permission in our household to play,
Mm.
to make a mess, to have grandiose imagination. Because my mother is a science teacher. She did teach English because she taught for Chicago Public Schools, right? So she
Hmm.
taught English. She taught, I want to say, sexual education or health. She taught a bevy of different things, right? But because she was a science teacher, she was really grounded in the idea of playing with chemistry, and we would call it, it's potions class. I mean, she did a whole Harry Potter unit. She did a whole Harry Potter unit with Chicago Public Schools, where she transformed an entire floor in Thurgood Marshall Middle School into Hogwarts.
What?
And science
Back in
was
like
was
what, the
potion
90s?
class, and English was spells class, and this was like 2000s
Yes.
in the inner city of Chicago, and she had people reading for fun. She had them immersed in imagination. I mean, they had a sorting ceremony, they had house points. I mean, like, we can go down the nerd rabbit hole, right? She did that. And she did that ish in a lot of different units.
Mhm.
And I say all of that because my mom was really about allowing yourself time to just be as immersed in imagination as possible. She was like, I trust Einstein a little. And Einstein said a lot. A little, a lot, mostly. Science grows, it evolves, right?
Yes.
But she believed him when he said that imagination is everything.
Mhm.
Imagination is everything.
Yes.
And I have learned as an adult that imagination is very lucrative because when people go out and spend their money on something, they're really spending their money on the creativity of the person who bound it all together. They're spending their money on the imagination of the person who conjured up all of these stories. And it made me feel really, really powerful to follow behind her into this bookstore, right? To like wrap it all up. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit.
No, no. This look,
You know,
I'm like, keep talking.
I love you. But we would go to these bookstores and struggle to find stories about us.
Mhm.
And you get very good at living vicariously through other characters, but you do miss reading about a character who like is really struggling to get a comb through their hair,
Look.
you know,
Whew.
or like really has a taste for greens
Mhm.
and mac and cheese, baked mac and cheese.
Very specific.
Okay, world these days. To name,
Mm. Oh.
and I would feel that. I mean, like even as a little kid, and I would like I've read all the time, read avidly, but I would miss that. And now I'm finding it easier to find, especially in fantasy and fiction, science fiction. It's
Mhm.
easier to find black and brown characters in the young adult section. But let me tell you something. I don't want to read about a teenager losing their virginity. I don't want to read about a 19-year-old who is struggling to find themselves.
Nothing's wrong with the story, but we're just in a different age demographic. We need something that we can connect to.
But even if I was 19,
Oh, okay, well, I got nothing.
I would want to read so that I would have some sort of blueprint.
Mm.
I mean, these stories leave a lasting blueprint, an
Yeah,
imprint on the landscape of your imagination.
very true.
And it is necessary to see women who have their shit together,
Mm-hmm.
who know themselves, who want things and are moving towards them, who know their body already, who have learned that language and are putting that language into practice, you know, who are asking and receiving. It is very valuable to have a bevy of story about coming of age, right? And like, I'm here for it. I read it. I'm here for it. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
reading it because there is so few stories about grown women of color in fantastical, miraculous, magical circumstances, working their ass off and living happily ever after. And because I'm hungry for that content, I am willing to create it.
Yes.
I'm willing to keep creating it, even when I feel like I'm not doing good enough, even when I feel like I'm sliding backwards creatively,
Mm-hmm.
even when I feel like, well, damn, Corona, why?
On all of the
Why?
projects that had lined up and
Yes.
got
And
to
we,
re-envision how we're gonna approach this work. It's a lot.
you know, it's
Yeah.
a lot, but without that pause, I was really gearing up to fully produce a play. And I was
Mm-hmm.
putting a lot of energy in that direction. But because of this breath that we've been given as a collective humanity, you know, the universe was like, how about we prioritize this first.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I did, because nothing like it exists. And that I don't feel particularly special. I feel like that's kind of sad. It should be very easy for a woman of color, a queer woman, to just go on Amazon or Kobo or iBooks, choose your
And
poison,
be yourself.
and find a narrative that will sew her up,
Mm-hmm.
and give her some faith or give her an escape into someone else's tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. And the thing that was coming to mind for me is thinking about imagination. And so, like growing up, my grandmother, you better not come to her talking about you bored. At any point, did you come to
Never
my
do.
grandmother and say, "Grandma, I want to go outside. Why? Because I'm bored. You better go read a book." Like that. That is like ingrained in my mind in a way. I am now repeating this to my nephew, and he looks at me like, "Read a book," and I'm like, "You heard me. Go read a book." Uh, so
Go read a book.
my grandmother's coming through in me, but like I am a part of this committee that's taking a look at literacy as a whole, and some of the conversations that we're having around it revolve around how much um how big are the conversations that are happening within the household, and how much agency do you have within your household to just read, and how much that's giving me access to so much more. Like it was just so natural to me because my grandmother was an educator, a nurse, but very much like an educator, came from educators. My mother was and is, still is an educator in her own right. And so like that was something that was natural to me to have, and thinking about it from the perspective of us not only having the agency to have that literacy, but also the older that we get, the more that our imaginations are being told it needs to be stripped from us, and that we have to fit into this mold. And this mold is actually what is partially killing us, and
Yeah.
killing our imagination, killing our possibilities. Because even if your job might not require you to have as much imagination as you might think, by you having this free time to explore, it allows you to be a better human being in your
Yes.
everyday life. And we're not giving it the credit it deserves, so that we can be more active human beings for sure.
Yes. It's
Yes,
a life source.
it is.
Creativity, imagination, rest is a life source. Play is a life source.
Mm, yeah.
And we have allowed ourselves to stay conditioned, because once you're an adult, I love it when my clients are like, but I was conditioned. It's like, yeah, but now you're grown
Now the
and
challenge
you
is
can
you.
condition yourself,
Yeah.
recondition yourself.
Oh,
And there are a lot of things that we as a people are reconditioning. We're reconditioning how we work, when we work, what we do, and why. What we believe, what the truth is.
yes.
We are literally in a space of so much chaotic, ruthless creation. It's really easy to feel like you have no power, but you do.
Yes. Look at
You
you leading
do.
right into a question that we received. I don't know if you saw it.
I didn't.
But okay, look, see, it's the magic. It's y'all see,
It's
you're
the
seeing it
synergy.
in
It's
action.
the alignment.
So my girl Rosin asked a really great question. She said, "What about those of us who have a book in us, and didn't have parents who were teachers? So not having like a point of reference. Where do we/I begin?"
Writing is an endurance sport.
I'm typing that in the chat.
It
Writing
is. It's
is
an endurance sport. I don't think I made that up. I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere. We might have to Google the original author of that quote. But it has stuck with me as a human being and as an artist and as just a woman, as a creator. It's an endurance sport.
mm,
And so the thing that you have to just allow yourself to do is feel uncomfortable sitting still long enough
Ooh,
to know what it is that you want to say and to prioritize creating that thing and giving yourself time to be frustrated
yeah.
and sore and just mad. Right? It's just
Good. Good.
mad.
And removing the idea of what you're writing down is going to be perfect or that you're going to use all of the material. Throw that out the door.
Oh, yeah, no,
Be willing to just be in that moment.
yes.
Yes.
You know, it's work.
Yeah.
But when you love it, it doesn't feel like work. When your heart is in the story you're telling, that's what matters. If you have a story in you, if you have a book in you, then the universe is driving you to do something for you that's going to transform your life. The
Mm,
doing of it, not just the finished project, but the everyday endurance of sitting still and prioritizing something that is only in you. That story does not exist in any other human being, and it never will,
yes.
which is why it's a priority. Only you can give birth to this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would say, one, get used to the discomfort of being the chair and being still and
Ooh,
feeling woefully, uh, I don't want to say incompetent, but there is a feeling as a being that is always evolving and growing and creating, that you're not good enough yet to do the thing that you want to do. And that is a wonderful thing. It means that you have taste. Good for
yeah.
you. You have taste. And you also have a vision of how good you could be and will be. But you can't get there if you don't endure what you are capable of creating right now. The love of my life loves to say it was the best I could do for insert ear. Yeah, he's like,
Yes.
best I could do for 2020. It's the
Yes.
best I could do for Thursday. But it really was the best I could do.
Yes.
And like every painting I do, I become a better painter. Every book I write, every short story, every play,
Mm-hmm.
I become more proficient, but it's the endurance. And then, I'm just going to continue to be the ambassador of joy,
Yeah.
really allowing yourself to enjoy the creative process. It's so
Yeah.
sacred.
The process.
The
That's what I don't think we highlight enough is the
Yes.
idea of a process because we're so used to seeing the end product and we
Yes.
forget that there's like you're saying that endurance, those steps that we have to take to get to that end product. We don't highlight the process enough so that people understand it took time to get here and it's okay that it's taking time to
Yeah.
get where you want to be.
Everything takes time. You
Every.
put a seed in the earth and it takes time to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And you are no different creatively. A
Mm-hmm.
seed has been planted in you and it's ready to grow. And you have an opportunity to water that seed or to let it lie in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to go bad in the earth. It's just not going to create
Not gonna
food for
grow.
you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to make something beautiful for you to enjoy beyond the black of the earth.
Yes.
The gestation period is real. I spent a lot of time just nurturing the story, nurturing the creativity, nurturing the characters, nurturing it. It all takes love
Actively.
actively.
Actively nurture because some people,
Nurture.
it's I think there's a space where we also need to be okay with us nurturing, right? But then
Yeah.
there's also that space where people think it's just going to come out of nowhere. But you need to be actively doing something every day, even if it's small, even if you're waking up in the morning and you're saying I am an author. That's your accomplishment for the day. And then the next day, I am an author and here's my first sentence.
Yes.
And then
And I
here's
would
my
I
next
would go so far as to like, all right, I'm about to like say the thing.
good you
Okay.
want to say.
I'm gonna say the
I
truth.
trust everything
I'm
that
gonna
comes out of
say
your mouth all the time.
it. Let go of titles. Let go of that feeling of like, I'm an accomplished author
Mm,
and be a brilliant creator. Be a truly splendid, brilliant, focused, disciplined artist.
Disciplined.
Disciplined. It does. As a, it's endurance sport. You know, you don't expect. I had a really wonderful experience doing a guest lecture at the University of California, Davis on just this subject.
Hmm.
You would not expect a pro athlete to go out and play a big game without warming up first, without
Yes.
eating a proper diet, without a proper warm up, you know, or not warm up, a rehearsal period,
Hmm.
practice, sports ball.
Practice. Practice. What do you need practice for? It's not a
Right.
game. It's
You need
practice.
the game. Still
Why is
rehearsing
that still
practice.
relevant? I don't understand it. Thank you, Allen Iverson. I don't know why that's still relevant.
But you get where I'm coming from, right? Like we expect creators to just wake up creative, you know, to just be brilliant by accident,
Hmm.
you know. But all of these things, the best piece of advice that I received from a professor was that no one cares how talented you are.
Mm.
I was like,
Ouch.
but he was like, no one cares how talented you are. They care how skilled you are.
Mm.
That's what they care about. You know, they care about how good you are. And being good takes more than just talent, it takes skill, you know, and all of that, you know, will accumulate inside of you and will help you accomplish the goal of, you know, the acclaim and the titles and
Yes.
all of the fans and the big bucks and, like, you know, all of the good stuff is attracted to that state of joy, to that
And
state of creative purpose.
yes, yes. And skills can be learned. And
Most
I want to
they
highlight, well,
learn. They have to be learned.
they have to be learned. But so
Yes,
so for anyone, so I love when people are like, "Oh, I have a story to tell, but I'm not a writer." Well, who said that? Where in your life? So like being able to unpack who in your life told you that you were not a writer, because like you said, it is a skill and skills can be learned.
most
It's
certainly.
just all about the dedication and the mindset shift
Yeah.
and wanting to learn to be in that position if something that you're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
But folks are like, I wasn't born with the writer gene, and I like to say, cross my path. I bet you I change your mind. Like I bet you I get you. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
will
It's
be
like,
a
well, when
writer.
was the last time, like, you warmed up as a writer? You know, like, when was the last time that you allowed yourself time to just, like, stretch and grow
Mhm.
as a writer? You know,
Yes.
honey, you are a writer if you write,
Yes.
you
Yep.
know, not if you're published, you know, if you write. And
Yes.
if you write every day, you will be published. You
Hmm.
know, you're just gonna get that good. The right people are gonna stumble upon you. It just happens like that, especially if you are in a state of just utter enthusiastic joy, enthusiastic love with what it is that the universe is trying to bring into fruition through you.
Yes. Ooh. I don't know about y'all, but
Mhm. Warm up.
the bird seeds or the seeds that have been dropped today have been not only a reminder for me, but a nice little reminder for all of us to keep going and to keep working at it.
Yeah.
Before we kind of hop into our rapid flight session, where I spitball some questions at you, and you kind of like off the top of your dome, tell us your answers or what you're thinking about in this moment, because it doesn't have to be the final answer; it can be in this moment. I would love to know if you have any plans for 2021? And if you don't, no is an answer. Like we can say no and we can be in this space of like what? We can be in this, you're laughing at me. We can be in this space of just stillness.
Wonder.
Like
Yeah.
that is also okay. But I would love if you do have any plans for 2021, and if so, kind of what are those? What are you thinking about?
We are releasing more fairy tales. You know, this month, next month, soon. I will be releasing another installment of Fairy Tales for Sun-Kissed Women, and this story is going to be featuring a trans woman, because Black trans women don't get enough fairy tales,
Facts.
you know, and all women deserve a happily ever after.
Mm,
All of us do, at least the opportunity to pursue it prodigiously.
Mm.
So that I'm very excited about. It's been cooking inside of me for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm ready. I'm ready to tell that story and I'm excited about it. So there's that. We will be releasing another audiobook, the audio version of Queen on Me and the Ancestry, which has got a really phenomenally wonderful cast. Leroyce Hawkins is back, but so is Greg Dubois, Shariba Rivers,
Oh yes.
Christiana Ray Colon, J. Nicole Brooks. I mean, like the Chicago fam came through for me, and we very slowly through quarantine recorded all of these voices, and they're beautiful. When you listen to this audiobook, you're not going to be like, it would be really lovely to listen to a romance and not have the woman doing both voices.
Yeah.
That's a big distraction for me. And there are some great voice actors that really like drop the baritone, but
Yes.
it's just like ah. So in this, you get a narrator, but all of the characters are brought to life. There will be a full sound design. I'm very excited about it. There is an episode of Refracted Theater Company. I
Oh.
wrote a podcast episode for them. Their podcast is called The Swell, and my episode is called Clearinghouse. And it's an immersive audio play that invites you to do a ritual clearing, energetic clearing of your entire space. You know, people don't do that. We cast off a lot of energy. It gets caught in the walls, it gets caught in our fabric. I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole any day.
Yeah.
I like to expound on energy and
Part
healing.
two, we can come
Part
back
two.
and,
Part
and
two.
have that
Clearing
conversation.
your space. I'm serious about it.
I know I am too. Now you know once we put it out there, it's bound to happen. So
Man, like, what did we do for the camera came out? Wave some
right.
polish. No.
Right. We had all of the things that we needed to do to energetically clear our
Yeah,
spaces.
we need.
Mallory sent it to me and I was like, you know what? Let me go get my Palo Santos and make this happen for
Yeah,
myself. So
we let off a lot of steam,
hmm
and that steam has got to go somewhere,
hmm
and it wants to do something. And I spend a lot of time. We're just going to really quickly talk about this clearing thing real quick,
Sure,
because a lot
sure.
of people ask me about the power of the sage or the incense or the room sprays. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can clear energy in a space,
Yeah.
and why it works is that mentally you flip the switch that says, I'm not going to tolerate the presence of negativity, self doubt, fear, worry. I'm just not going to mentally make space.
hmm
And by lighting your Palo Santo, your incense, opening a window, mentally you are creating space for a new vibration to latch on and rule supreme.
The power of your five senses,
Yes,
especially smell.
yes.
Smell
It
can.
will literally change your mind,
Mhm.
and a change of mind is a change of destiny. Your body ain't nothing but a big old ball of bound up stories. Tell a different story,
Mhm.
and help yourself with certain necessary triggers, to refocus and rechannel your consciousness.
Mhm.
So we're gonna do that. We're
Yes.
gonna teach people how to clear their houses, how to invite in the lights. That's really important for 2021. I also have a book coming out this year. I'm very determined to
Yes.
have the first installment of Orion's Odyssey come out this year, because she's written and she's ready. And I have a fantastic editor who's like helped me make it make sense. So it's time for that to fly, and I'm very excited about that. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is an odyssey for Black women.
Y'all better catch on to
Yeah.
this flight that's happening over here with Mallory. Um, and if you don't already follow Mallory, I've already added the website to the chat, and I will add it again in case folks missed it. Make sure you follow Mallory on Instagram. And fairy tales. Is it fairy tales for Black women? Is that
At
the
Fairy Tales for Sun-Kissed
sun
Women.
kiss? I always want to say Black women for sun kissed women,
I mean, because
because we.
it's the kiss of the sun.
Yes, it's the kiss of the sun. So I will add all of that information in the chat for folks for sure. Uh, before we hop into this rapid flight, do you have a question for me? Because I have been, um, you know, basking in your brilliance. Um, and asking you questions, and got so excited. And so I wanted to be able to make space for you before we.
I do have a question.
Okay.
I do. And it's
Oh, oh boy.
a naughty, naughty question.
Okay.
Heather Bird. Heather Bird Roberts. What is one thing that terrified the shiznit out of you in 2020 that you now feel brave enough to do in 2021?
Oh, wow.
Told you it's naughty.
It's a great naughty question. I You were actually a part of that journey, and I don't know if you were setting me up or not. But what
Probably.
scared the shiznick out of me. So when March hit and things closed down, I was already set to be in one festival over the summer, and then had a chance to be a part of another festival. And at that moment, I went through the festival in St. Louis last year, kind of got the lay of the land, understood what things looked like, and I was like, I'm ready for this year. And just like
Right.
everything that happened in 2020, the universe said, nope, we're gonna reset you, and we're going to teach you some lessons in the process. Um, and so being able to make that shift from what I thought I knew to the virtual stage and producing and filming Inheritance, the stories we carry, and her story of history, and it scared the living daylights out of me because I did not know what to expect.
And you let me put red lipstick on you.
And Mallory Raven Ellen
Forget that. I'll never forget
Backstrom
that day. You were so brave.
convinced me to put on red lipstick, y'all, and it was the most gorgeous red lipstick ever. I'm more of a darker tone, nude tone lipstick wearer, and Mallory's like, as she's doing my makeup, goes, "Do you trust me?" And I said, "Yes, I
Yeah,
do."
that's exactly how
We're
you. I don't know.
like, yes, I do, but should I be questioning this right now? And this woman put on the most beautiful shade of red lipstick that made me just feel confident in my body. And the reason why I got through the moment of what scared the crap out of me was, one, I didn't have time to be scared. Like I didn't have the time to sit in my natural state of overthinking, overthinkingness, and freaking out. Like I had my little moments, but I did not truly have time to sit in that, and I just had to act. And I was blessed enough to have you by my side. I was blessed enough to have Kyle by my side. I was blessed enough to have Greg by my side, to where in any moment where I was like, what in the actual fuck is happening? I had someone who could pull me down off of that ledge. And I truly thank the three of you for believing in what I the vision that I had,
That's the easy
and
part.
allowing me to live that out fully. And I'm still like that. The show went up in July and August, and to receive awards for that show, I am still sitting in the space of being the Fringe Meister for 2021, having the best selling show. I mean, for 2020. Look at me, I'm putting it in the universe. Um, Having the best selling show,
Yeah.
and also receiving the best storytelling award. I am still sitting in that disbelief of, look what came together. So it scared the living daylights out of me, but I had my support system by my side, and like I would not have been able to see my dream come true if it wasn't for you all. So it's always tied together. So I am forever grateful
You
for.
would have. It just wouldn't have been as fun.
It wouldn't have been as fun. It
It
wouldn't
just
have
wouldn't
been
have
as
been.
true.
It would
It
have been a different crew. But you are a very magnificent being. You will always find a way to bring a true vision to fruition. You have it. You have that magic. You know.
yeah.
You a Leo.
Right?
Can't help it.
That is, yes. So, oh,
And
this
so it sounds like you're going to do more films.
I'm yeah, thinking about what that looks like, and also being very conscious of how I am putting these productions out into the world, right? So now that we have
Yes.
this living document, right? How can we get this in front of more people? How can we let folks have a conversation about what it means to be a Black body in the US? Have these conversations about magic and exhaustion as a Black woman. Like, how can we continue these? Because it's ongoing. So
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
for being just amazing. Cool.
It
So
is.
to wrap up, what we are going to do is I'm going to fire some questions at you. And the first thing that comes to your mind, let us into your brilliance. So the first question is, well, it's a statement, and I want you to complete the sentence.
Okay.
Creativity is,
Life.
ooh, we're going to sit with that. Creativity is life.
It
Okay. The
is.
next, huh?
That's it. I was about to expound. I like, don't get me started. Okay.
No, we
Yes.
gotta
Life.
we
Moving on.
we we gonna we can either come back to that in another segment, but we can let the people, you know what I'm saying? Creativity is life. Let's sit in that, and then we can revisit that later. Awesome. Okay. Second question is, what piece of advice has stuck with you over the years?
Mm. Take nothing and no one for granted.
Mm, okay. I want.
Especially one part.
Um, what would you say to someone who is looking for themselves in books?
Stop looking for yourself and go create yourself in a book.
Just get chills every time you answer questions. Okay.
Go.
Um, what is the lesson that you have had to learn and relearn over the years?
Oof. This woof. We go woof. This is the truth. Be careful who you talk to. Be careful who you tell your whole truth to. I have learned that. My mother has been like, Mallory, I done told you, stick your tongue out, slap. It's like, talk to the wrong people. And I have learned that and have had to unfortunately learn that over and over again. But now that I am more seated in my maturity, I have better taste
Mm,
in the company I keep.
mm-hmm.
That too. Ooh, piggyback. You are the company you keep.
Yes.
That is something that I've had to learn. My mother used to say that to me all the time. You are the company you keep. You can tell who you are by the people who are surrounding you.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm surrounded by so many people that I'm like, shh, I can't be this shiny. Look at these shiny.
You
Do you
shiny,
see
baby.
these shiny
I keep
people? Can you
telling you,
see
you shiny. You shiny.
yourself?
You shiny. And this, so that first statement that you made me think of something that I posted on Facebook, and then I'll go to the next one. It said Sunday sermon from Tracy Hall, actually. Sunday sermon. Never show your tricks to people who don't believe in magic.
Dun, dun,
Mic
dun.
drop.
It's an exercise in futility.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. What's one thing you're really excited about right now?
Well, I'm getting married in a few months. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, I'm really excited. I moved through a very lovely dark rain cloud. I think that it's necessary for us to spend some time in shadow. And there was like definitely a shadow, a sluggishness to my creative process. And I like tried to honor the fact that I was just dating and I was moving through it and I let it be yummy, lots of long ritual baths and shit.
Mhm.
But now I'm really excited because I can feel like the earth starting to tremble. Like I can feel the growth
Mm, yes.
and I trust it. And I think that is something that I'm really excited about. Um, it has taken me as long as it has taken me to really have complete and utter faith in the thing that I'm creating. And I'm finding that that is the greatest gold.
Mm,
That is like the greatest healing is that I'm not looking for other people or other things to reaffirm to me that this is the right path and that I'm doing the right thing and that I'm a good girl and blah blah blah. It's like now it's the pursuit, the loving, joyful pursuit
yes.
of something that gives my life purpose.
Yes.
You know? something that I can do tirelessly,
Mm.
and
Mm.
will do. We'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning. We'll leave the comfort of my good old warm bed, eager, because there's a character that's like, will you write my story? Could you talk? Could
Mhm.
I've been having some issues and I really would like to work it out on the page.
Yes. Ooh. And
Like that healing. It's
yeah,
healing
it
to
is.
love your work and to love the life that you allow to be created around the discipline
Hmm.
that you have to give your work.
Yes.
And like I'm not really good at routine. Um, I'm not going to get into the long list of things I'm not really good at. We're going to stop with routine. That's what to go to. But I don't really like feeling fixed,
Hmm.
in space, nor time, nor thought, nor company. I don't like feeling energetically on the treadmill,
Yeah.
going nowhere,
Yeah.
you know? And this year, I got the best compliment I could have from my mother, because my mother told me that I am a high priced fraud
Mama Backstrom.
and a hellified woman.
Yes.
She said hellified. I was like,
With
ooh,
that photo,
my
yes.
pearls. She said,
Just
I'm
to comment
hellified.
on the photo that I actually used to advertise for this,
Did she?
badass.
I love
That photo is the epitome of badassery. Yes.
I
Yes.
love you so much. I love you. That's my best like 80s glamour shot. Like, like try to look stunned, like you didn't know this person was right there with the camera.
Mm. Mm. You worked it. You worked it.
Thank
I feel like you covered this in your last one, but is there anything else that you are deeply grateful for right now?
you. Oh, I'm deeply grateful for so much. I mean, gratitude was one of the first mindsets that I tried to adopt in
Mhm.
my reconditioning of my adult self. Is that not that my parents didn't give me a good grounding for gratitude, but I became very focused upon finding gratitude as like the home button of the mind.
Yes.
Or you can make gratitude your home screen in your mind. uh, the easier all of the things that you're trying to manifest are going to come to fruition. It
You
just
you
rolls out.
taught me that.
And so I am so impossibly grateful for the love in my life.
Mm.
Like love is the wealth of the universe. It just is. It's the currency that you can actually buy and trade with in multiple realms. Like you can still trade with love and work with love. We won't say
Mhm.
trade, but work with love. You know, love has worth in and out of the body. And I have become I've always, I guess, been in awe of the love in my life and the people who bring it into my life. But I'm trying to go out of my way to really honor the sacred gift that love is. Like that's the other blessing of the pandemic is that you had to be willing to really like risk your life and die to see the people you loved.
Mhm.
And it really brought into hyper focus how much you're loved.
Yes. Yes.
And this year was what it was, or last year, if you will, was what it was. But I never once felt like I was not loved.
Mhm.
And in the work that I do, I do not take that for granted. It is so easy to be a human being right now and to just dwell in every day feeling like no one sees you, no one loves you, no one wants you. It's so easy to believe that and to find evidence for it everywhere. And that's one of the reasons why I do the work that I do, because that is a poison in the human
Yes.
body.
Yes.
Our collective body is poisoned by that feeling of I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, no one loves me.
Mhm.
And because no one loves me, I don't love me. And if there is like a lightning that I want to become a part of, it's the movement through women, through just the complete psyche of women, about how necessary it is to feel loved, to love yourself first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. Last question. What are the five books you could not live without?
Just five. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. All right. I could not live without. I really could not live without Octavia Butler's Wild Seed.
Woo!
Just
That
couldn't do without it.
that's a good
It's
choice.
like Octavia Butler is the homie G. She is on my altar. I pray to Octavia Butler.
Yes, you
Give
do.
me wisdom and help me to write like a badass. Expand my imagination. So she's there. Who else would be for sure on the? Oh, this is so hard.
Look at Greg. Greg literally just said this is actually the hardest Mallory question.
It's, it's mean to me. Okay. The People Could Fly is my second one, which
Mm.
is a collection. It's an anthology of African American folk tales that were collected and bound beautifully together by Virginia Hamilton. Um, that I couldn't do without. It's life saving. It's grace.
I don't know about y'all, but I just pulled out my phone and I'm taking notes of what's coming out of her mouth.
Yeah, the People Could Fly is a good one. The People Could Fly is a really, really good one. This is a really abstract one, but it's the Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. It's by Barbara Walker. Yes, Barbara Walker. That is just a golden resource as a storyteller. Being able to look up and to thoroughly research the connections and the symbols and the imagery that's in your work and in your life. I find it to be very useful. I mean, I couldn't do without the Harry Potter books. I mean, if I had to like null it down to just one of the Harry Potter books, I'd
We
have to
could do the set.
five.
We could do a set. We can
I
in this
that.
alternate
Oh, we can do that.
in the alternate universe, the set is just all one book. We ain't got to worry about it. It's fine.
Man, great. And so, with that in mind, I believe I'm on my last set. And my last set goes to a brilliant writer by the name of Michelle Segarra West. She has written copious amounts of sets of fiction. She's dope. She's goals. Like, oof, oof, writer crush all day.
Wait,
So
what was it
productive.
called?
So like, her name is Michelle Segarra West. She writes under Michelle Segarra and Segarra West because she's a boss. And she writes very rich and complex and beautiful fantasy with great dynamic female leads, and everything is so, I mean, like the Sun Sword series, that's the series that you get. The Sun Sword series needs to be an HBO show. I don't understand why it's not.
The sun. Look, I'm gonna find this.
The Sun Sword, warlords, demons, people jumping in and out of time and jumping in and out of, just it's wonderful. It's
Okay.
really it's a juicy piece of literature, and it won't feel like, when can I get to the good part?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll keep you enthralled.
Well, I have been asked to put links of these books uh, in the chat, so I took note of. I think I got them all in my brain. So afterwards, we would do that uh, for
I
sure.
guess I wouldn't go without my own books too. I'm
Oh
bad
yeah, we can
at
link.
self promotion.
Yes, we gonna
That's
make
my textbook. That's a given.
to have your book. Yes, that's your
Yeah.
inspiration. Like, look at my baby. This is my baby. The baby don't. The
I
baby
was like, I
automatically
forgot my
comes with
baby.
you. The baby automatically comes with you. Like, we don't have to put that in the five at all. It's like you're a part of me. What do you mean? Oh, this has been an absolute joy, as it always is to share space with you. Thank you so much for doing this. Um, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like this came right on time for me. I am in almost the middle of my Birds World mindset, writer's mindset challenge. And like all of the conversation that we are having today fits right in there. So I'm about to share this with the group so they can get a piece of your brilliance in there. But to be continued. This is not
Yeah.
done. We will definitely have you back into the space. For those of y'all are joining us, if you don't already follow Bird's World, please do. We will be having Bird Talk Tuesday every Tuesday, and so I alternate between having a guest and just really having time with me and you and getting to know one another. And so I definitely would encourage you all to be a part of that space. Quick plug that's slightly separate from this, but all of this is about creativity and cultivating this creativity. I am running a writing workshop with Burst into Books Saturdays in January for youth, so ages 12 to 19. If you all have any youth who want to be writers, who want to just be in the space and be creative, hit me up. Let me know. The workshops are free. They're from noon to 1 on every Saturday in January. So let me know so that we can make sure that we are cultivating youth's creativity and imagination so that they know the value of it before they get older and kind of lose that and then have to rediscover themselves. Um, any last words for the people, Mal?
Love
Love,
yourself.
enjoy.
Yeah, just love yourself.
Yes.
The moon is in a new phase right now. Go off. I'm about to go take a bath.
Hey.
I'm about to go drink wine and I snuggle with my big old dog and my partner and my big old fluffy cat, and so allow yourself just to do whatever it is. The healing will come if you do whatever it is that
Mm-hmm.
you love most about yourself. If you put that energy in it, I mean, like really and truly, you might regret a lot of things in life, but it won't be that.
Yes.
It won't be that.
Mm. Well, on that note, who else? Who we don't need anything else. Just sit with that for the rest of the night. It's your girl Bird. I am here to let you know that I see each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for being here. I want to remind you all that you all are hummingbirds, and hummingbirds fly no matter where they go. So I want to encourage you all to keep exploring, keep creating, and y'all know what it is. Make sure you keep flying. Until next time, bye, y'all.